Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McLemore.
All right. Hello. Welcome to a special edition of the WSBI podcast program. This evening, you will be spending moments with Lady K and Mistah Tee. Welcome, Mr. T.
Welcome, Lady K.
So how are you this evening?
I'm doing so well this evening. You cannot even believe it. How are you?
I'm breathing. Okay. I'm doing good. I'm sitting up here fumbling around trying to get this thing going this evening, but everything is good. I cannot complain. So I'm so glad that we have another opportunity for the listeners to listen to us tonight. We got a lot of good things, don't we?
We do. We have so much to share. I'm like effervescent and bubbling over. I'm like ready. I'm totally ready to go.
I can tell. Listen to you. Oh boy. I hope the listeners are just as excited as we are tonight. We have a fabulous show. I guess it's been about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We popped on and talked about our new show that's going to be coming out towards the end of the year and the beginning of 2019. So we thought, I mean, hey, we had such a great response the first time. I thought, you know what, we need to do this again, and we will probably do this pretty often throughout the rest of this year before we actually do the full show in next year. So the first thing, though, before we really start diving into our topic of discussion and some of the other fun things we're going to be doing, why don't you tell listeners just a little bit about yourself, Mr. T?
I'm very happy to do that, Lady K. Well, my name is T. Everybody calls me T. That's like my nickname. I'm sure my mother's not happy because my name is very specific. And she's like, I gave you the name for a reason, but everybody calls you T. But it's cool. I like it, and it makes everything so much easier. Anyway, about me, I am a youngish professional male, in case everybody forgot.
I like that, youngish.
Youngish. Yeah. Hey, I said you can be blackish, you can be grownish, you can be youngish. So, hey. But I'm actually 40 and proud of it. And I'm very happy to get carded all the time because I get it from my mama. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. And let's see, what else about me? I'm a professional male. Professional male. What does that mean?
Wait a minute.
I have no
let's
idea.
See, professional. You know, we could go a whole lot of different directions.
Yeah. So one. I'm a working professional. There we go. That sounds a whole lot better.
Well, that's okay. But anyway, I'll let you.
Like I'm stumbling over my words because I was like, I don't know what to say, but I am a working professional in Northern Virginia. I just switched jobs, which will lead us into another topic that we're going to talk about a little bit later on. Mm-hmm. And I am just so happy right now and just in love with life. I'm so glad to be 40 and fabulous. And people say 50 and fabulous, and you can be 60 and sassy or whatever. I'm just loving being 40 and having an awareness of self. Like I just can't talk about that enough. And I didn't realize at 21 or 22 or 23 that I would be 40. I knew I would be 40, but I thought I would be like old and like decrepit. You know how 21-year-olds see life. Right. You know, you're like, oh, you're so old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. But I'm 40.
At least you're not being teased about being in the AARP club, okay? Because I get to hear that on a regular basis. Like, really?
Not getting teased about that. I think I got like 10 more years for that, or maybe 20 more
you do whatever.
So.
You don't have to smear it in. Okay.
Not gonna dig it in. Not gonna dig it in. But but outside of my life as a professional working person here in this area, or just in general. I also teach fitness classes, and fitness is something that's very important to me and that I am very passionate about. And I look forward to sharing that with our members once they get, or not our members, but our listeners later on this podcast, some events that will be going on that they might be interested in participating in. And also my keen fashion sense and the thing that I do and that I like looking at, you know, when people wear clothes, whether it's to work or the gym or to the grocery store or to can I say Walmart? I'm not sure if I can say Walmart. But I'll say that, and maybe they'll send me a gift card or something. Maybe they'll send us a gift card that we can use.
That's right. Yeah, we need it, okay? The show needs
Yeah.
But okay.
Right. But enough about me. Lady K, tell the listeners a little bit about you.
Well, let's see. For those who don't know who I am, of course, my name, is Kimberly McLemore. I have been around for a little while. This is not my only show, so most people listen to me on my own program, which is, of course, as you know, the WSBI, Your Resource for Success podcast program, as which we are guests on my actual show this evening for ourselves, which is kind of, which is real interesting, right? But, essentially, as far as just a little bit of background, I mean, of course, I, live here in the Alexandria, Virginia area. I am an author. I, of course, have this podcast show. I am also the CEO and founder of the Women's Small Business Initiative. And that's what I do in my, as I say, my evening life, moving into my full-time life eventually with my businesses. But, of course, the other thing that I do during the day is I am a contractor for the government. I won't give any specifics, but I do project management tasks, senior consulting type work. So I've been doing that for a while. In the area that, since I've been here, gosh, it should be 14 years in April. I can't believe I've been here that long. Because I was not planning on being here this long. Actually, coming from Davenport, I was like, yeah, I'm going to keep my house and I'm going to go back when my son gets out of college. And 14 years later, I'm still here. Finally got rid of my house a year ago. So I was like, guess I'm not going anywhere, right? So,
right?
Not going back home. So. Yeah, so anyway.
You're here to stay.
Exactly. So, yeah, I'm here and love this area, and this is considered home for me now, of course, and I'm happy that my son is in the area with me, too, so that makes it even nicer that we can actually call this home together. But as far as other things that I really, enjoy doing, I also am pretty avid into working out. I do have a Zumba instructor license. Of course, I'm not teaching anymore because I just don't have the time, but I'm always there to support my boy T. I mean, this is something that I love. I'm one of his tea timers. So, up there on the stage doing our thing together when he needs that support and, needs a little helping hand or just, make everybody feel that, hey, anybody can do it at any age. Exercise is really important. So I really love to, stick with the Zumba and the water aerobics that I do and definitely love working out. I'm a gym rat, so I have to get up every morning and get in there and get those muscles working. So it starts my day off. But anyway, enough of that fun stuff. I guess tonight, though, we really got a lot of, like T said, we got a lot of great things we're going to be talking about. We have a great topic of discussion, and our topic for the night is going to be the ins and outs of transitioning from the old to the new. So we're going to get into that in a minute. But we're also going to be talking and celebrating a few things. We got some events in the area we're going to be talking about and some fashion tips, some Zumba events. But the one thing I want to mention before we get too far into our conversation, March 1st is pretty special month. And it's special because we're celebrating the Women's History Month. And so we're celebrating women all across the world, the women from the past who've paved the way for us. And of course, all the women who are currently doing their thing. And there's so many of you out there. What I want to say as a business owner and who really focuses my business strictly on women, I want to say thank you, because without you all, I would not be in the predicament that I'm in the position. You guys have transitioned my life, and I hope that I'm in transitioning your lives, because as women, we are definitely in the forefront, and we need to continue doing what we're doing, take the negativity away from us and away from yourselves, and just continue supporting each other and celebrating each other. That's what this is all about. I know that, the month of March is important, but we absolutely need to celebrate each other all throughout the year. So make sure that you all reach out to somebody today or tomorrow or anytime, especially women. Reach out to them and say, hey, I may not know you, but just say thank you. Thank you for whatever it is you're doing, and just show some appreciation, because every now and then we all need that little pat on the back.
That's right. You got that right. Actually, I wanted to just interject something.
Okay.
Because you mentioned that you that you stayed around for 14 years.
Yes.
In this area, and I was like, oh, but you were just waiting to meet me.
I
so we can be fabulous together. So.
Yeah, Yeah,
Sorry, I just want to say
you
that.
are right. You are right because it's funny. Like I said, I think we talked a little bit about this last time we were on, air. That when I met you, of course, through Zumba. I mean, it's funny because I've practically met almost all the people I know in this area through Zumba, and but there's just this spirit about you, and I was like, man, I got to get to know this guy. I got to get to be a part. And then when we started really getting to know each other just through class, and then of course, little by little, you start to learn about each other outside of class, and I was like, you know what, I got to have this guy co-hosting with me on a new show. Because we just have this connection, and then here we are today doing that. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just that beautiful balance is there, and we've even gone to a couple of events, and people see us and like, oh, y'all look so cute together. I'm like, oh, thank you, but we're not a couple.
That is so funny that people think that we're a couple.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, we're not. We're just in sync.
Exactly. Yeah, it's pretty funny, but yeah, love him to death, love you to death. So we're good.
Oh, exactly. And I wanted to just talk about the celebration of Women's History Month for March, just really quickly. Like I know we're not having a political show, but I love that we're rolling off of Black History Month because you and I are both Black.
Yes.
Power to the people.
That's right.
And we're rolling right from Black History Month into Women's History Month, which is, sadly what this current administration is very much against. Mm-hmm. And it's just fabulous that we're rolling from one month into the next, and it really is a celebration. And they say in March you march in like a lion and roll out like a lamb for April, and so in March it's just like, oh, Women's History Month. And you all are lionesses. You all are queens.
Well, thank you.
And I'm just like, right. Yes, work.
Thing. Yes, we are doing our thing.
So I'm just loving that. But I'll turn things back over to you. I just wanted to share that.
No. It's it's funny now you've said that. I didn't really put that connection together earlier when I was thinking about this. But you're right. I mean, with the way things are going today, with all the different movements and the things that women are going through. Our voice is finally truly being heard. And I think that's an important factor. I think that that's why I think it's important that we all truly stick together, and mean what we say, do what we say, be those heroes that we need to be. We don't have to be afraid anymore. We need to step out and just take care of ourselves and take care of each other. And I think that's what's important. And I've tried to make people understand in my own personal thought process, no current administration, whether it's the previous ones or the current one, nothing controls me in that manner, right. And we can't allow those types of things and these instances that are going on around us to control our everyday lives. Because no matter what we do, we have to get up and do what we have to do. We have to be on our grind every day, and no one person should control us in that manner. So, I pray that everybody is thinking for themselves and doing for themselves, because it is absolutely important that, you breathe and you be you and you live your life. Because if you start constantly listening to all the things that surround you, you'll be crazy. I mean, you literally will find yourself, and just in an uproar, and no one person, you should never give that one person that much power over you, right. Period. Have your respect, do what you need to do. But at the same time, you got to be you. You got to live.
That's right.
So after all this greatness, now we're going to get on to the topics of tonight.
All right.
So, like I said, our topics of discussion that we wanted to talk about is called the ins and outs of transitioning from the old to the new. And really what we're focusing on in this discussion is going to be about transitioning from an old job to a new one, or from an old job into a business. And we both kind of decided about this topic because T has made some major transitions, and I've had a lot of transition going on in the last couple of years, but it was so ironic that it kind of all fell in on time, so to speak. So I'm going to let you take the floor because, hey, you've got a lot to talk about when it comes to this new transition, and I need to hear about them toenails today. I got to hear about them toenails, okay?
Wow, okay. By the way, I need a disclaimer. Not my toenails.
Right.
Like, that could totally be a hashtag tomorrow. Hashtag not my toenails.
Exactly. So I was like, wait a minute. So I can't wait to hear this story today. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. So, we're transitioning from old to new. So recently, listeners, I left my job that I was working in a hospital in a support services role where I was working in a procurement position, which is where you're like buying things and but data entry, buying stuff like that. And I transitioned into more of a private sector job. And by the way, yes, it does pay more, and yes, it's way less stress. So I'll let everybody know that right now. Because that's always the question I get. Are they paying more? Is it less stress? Yes, and yes for whatever other question they might answer or ask, rather. But in transitioning, one of the things I thought was important is to try to wrap up your existence in your current role as professionally and as possible. I made sure that, in my last 2 weeks, I didn't get lackadaisical.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people are like, oh, well, I put in my notice, I'm leaving. Just know in your last 2 weeks or your last month or whatever the policy is for your particular company where you're working, you want to follow that policy, number one. And you want to continue to do your job, whatever you were hired to do to the best of your ability, even through the last day.
Right.
But you want to do that because sometimes people are just like, oh, well, I'm leaving anyway. They can still fire you within your last time, whatever time that is for your respective company. They can still fire you, and that will affect you in any future employment. Like, should you choose to leave, or should you have to search for another job after wherever you're going. So you want to make sure you leave, not burning bridges. Don't cuss out Sherry in cubicle number 4 because you don't like her shoes or whatever. You don't want to do that. Just leave quietly and professionally as possible. Going into your new job and transitioning into that, I do recommend, and I didn't follow this exactly, but you want to give yourself a transition time to decompress from where you're leaving from. Take a week off if you can. I took off a couple of days. I left midweek from my other job and started midweek in the new job, and I actually went home to visit my hometown, my family, and go to church and all that good stuff. And that was a good time to just decompress and release the energy from the previous job and move into the new job and go into the new to the new space with better energy. Because sometimes when we leave jobs, it's just because we have a better opportunity. But sometimes we leave because we don't really like what we're doing. We don't like ourselves in what we're doing. And there's a lot of energy, sometimes negative, that follows us in that time. And we want to make sure that we leave that and drop that bag off on the street with the rest of the garbage and let the trash man come pick it up.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So we go into our new space as ourselves and presenting our best selves. And then that allows us the opportunity to be able to really grow and learn what we're doing, and not just go right from one job to, or I should say, from going from one taskmaster to another taskmaster.
Right.
So I think that's really important in transitioning from the old to the new. Is just giving yourself a little downtime and being ready and being open to what's coming for you in the future in your new role, and even taking the experiences and the knowledge that you've learned from your previous employer, even if you're shifting to a quote unquote different industry, because I went from healthcare to private sector, but the things that I did, by and large, were the same, or are the same, I should say, because it's all task regulated and it's all very specific. It can get to be a little mundane, but take what you learned and apply that to what you're doing as best you can, and that'll help make you very successful. So those are my thoughts on transitioning from the old to the new. So.
Yeah, and actually you're right though. And whether you're transitioning into, a new job, or as my part, I think, of this discussion is more focused on starting a business. And, I talk to so many people every day, and women especially, where, they want to just dive sometimes right into doing the business without taking that transition that they may need to have. And,
right.
And I'm currently going through that transition because it takes time to build. Now, I mean, some people, are fortunate enough that, hey, they say, you know what, I'm going to just jump out there and leap out on faith. Others have prepared themselves financially. And then some people still need to build the business before they can just, dive out into it. And so I would wholly recommend, I highly recommend that everything that you were saying, that it's no different than transitioning into trying to start a new business, because business comes with a lot more responsibility, because it's all about you. You have to do your research. I always recommend doing a business plan. All these little steps that you need to take before you say, oh, I'm going to open my doors. But what I find a lot of people is they open their doors and then they want to take those steps after the fact, not understanding the ramifications that come with it. And like I said, and the responsibilities. So, if you have the leisure to take some of that downtime, to come off of one stream and jump onto the other, that's great. If you don't, do it a little at a time. It's about building that rapport, getting to know the people in your community and understanding what their needs are, and making sure that your business is something that we all want to support. And the big thing that I find when you're starting a new business, and I see it every day, and sometimes I catch myself even doing it, is that, we can wear out the circle of people that are around us. Be careful about doing those things, ensure that you are, especially on the social media side, that you're not constantly trying to deal with the same people and expecting the same reactions, expecting them to be supportive, expecting them to do all the things that they said that they're going to do. Because in reality, it doesn't work that way. That is not, that's not life. Sometimes they're going to be there, but they can't always be there. So, it's going to be important that you understand as you transition into starting these businesses that, yes, you will have some of the support you need, but then as you grow and you continue to understand who you are and what the process is of or product or service it is that you're providing to the community and for your new potential customers, that you understand that you're going to have new people come along the way. So I guess that's, my few minutes of discussion of really trying to get people to understand that it's no different, and like you said before too, you never want to burn your bridges. I definitely agree with that, because you never know if those people that you've previously worked for may become your new customers.
Right.
You're just on a different side of the stick. Like I said, you are the person who is going to be responsible for doing the business, and, whether you have employees or not, everybody's going to be looking up to you to do the right thing. So you can't be running around in your previous job, like you were saying, T, cussing out your next door neighbor and being all upset about what used to be, or you don't like that person's shoes, or they got an attitude, so you feel you're going to speak your mind. You can speak your mind, but at the end of the day, understand the ramifications that come from it.
Right.
Word gets out very quickly that you don't want to do business with that person because they got an attitude.
Yes.
So it's those little things that sometimes we do take for granted, thinking that, as we always say, if you build it, people will come. That is not essentially the way that anything works, whether it's in a job or whether it's your own business. So, my just little word of advice is that you take your time. You do yourself due diligence and do, like I said, the proper research. Build your empire one day at a time, because that's what it's going to take.
One day at a time, sweet Jesus.
That's amen.
That's our song.
One day at a time, sweet Jesus.
Sweet Jesus.
I remember that song. Probably 90% of these people listen to it say, I don't think I know that song.
Probably not.
Where are these people coming from, right?
They're like, why are they singing like that?
Well, coming from Iowa, you hear all types of things, okay?
Just put your hand up in the air and say, praise God.
Amen.
Or if you like Carter B, say, ow.
Yes, and the reality is we're praying every day, in order
That's
to
right.
make it and get through the day. So, we're not trying to make light of what we're talking about, but absolutely, it is something you have to do, because I cannot start my day without giving thanks, because without God, I can't wake up and do what I'm doing every day. So
praise Him. I'm doing a little dance right now. They can't see it, but I got my shoulders moving and my feet moving very quietly, so that way that the listeners don't hear me moving.
You still got that glass of water next to you?
I do. I have it right here. I'm taking a sip right now.
All righty then. Okay, so moving on. We're gonna move on. Moving this train down the line. I think
All right.
I think now is a good time to get in some. You want to talk about some upcoming events first? Just should we get into the fashion? What would you like to do first?
Let's do the fashion, because I have a very important tip that I think a lot of people are aware of, but don't realize that they're aware of it.
Oh, well then let's have it then.
All right. All right, so my fashion tip is to have a removable top layer, because layering is very important. Mm-hmm. And people may be like, "Oh, what is he talking about?" Mm-hmm. You know how you grow up and you're like, "Oh, your mama tells you to put on a jacket even though it's like 72 degrees outside."
Right.
But it's March, which it is now. Well, actually, it'll be tomorrow. So there you go. But February, March.
Today's March 1st.
Today's March 1st.
Hello.
See,
wait a minute. See,
I'm all up in it.
Today's March 1st. Today's Thursday, March 1st. Women's History Month. It's all right. I got
We're
you.
in March. We're in March. I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Got it. But anyway, seriously, layering is so important, and people don't realize that because, as my mother always said, you can always take something off. Like if you get too hot, you can always take something off. You can always take off a t-shirt or a jacket or a sweater. You can always take something off. You don't always want to put something on based on your environment. And in going back to transitioning to a new job, at my old job, I always kept a sweater on my chair at my desk,
right?
Because I would get cold. So especially if I'm sitting for long periods, and now I am sitting for long periods, and I realized, oh my gosh, I don't have a sweater at my desk, and I'm cold, but I don't want to put my coat on because it's too hot. I don't want to put my jacket on, because it's still going to be too warm for working in this environment. Right. And so layering is so important because when you do that, number one, physically, you give yourself an extra layer. So you retain some warmth. But then on the other side, you can do something a little different. Like maybe your coat that you wore in was just bland, like it's black or navy or beige or tan. But maybe you have a sweater that's maybe pink or orange. And guys, you can do this too. Or Kelly green, like a bright color. And you have the sweater on that, when you take it off, your wardrobe for work, whatever you're wearing, looks one way, but then you put on that little sweater and it's like, pow, like you're popping. Right. So, so it's very important from a health perspective and a productivity perspective because, you're able to be more productive when you're warm. Because if you're cold or you're too hot, nobody's working. You're like, oh, I'm cold, I'm freezing. So you want to get up and walk around. So then you're not working. If you're too hot, you're like, oh my God, it's so hot. And then you're sleepy, you're lethargic, so you're not actually your best self. So you want to be productive. And then, of course, if you can give a little fashion to, once again, Sherry over there in cubicle number 4 and walk past her, then you want to do that.
Right. Well, and the other thing that I'm thinking as you're speaking of is that, having those layers that you never know what you may have to do at the end of the day. So you may have to go to a supper, event, and you may not have time to go home and change, or a business networking event or something. So instead of having to worry about, I need to rush home and change this or change that, you have those, like you said, those layers, so you can go from daytime to evening time in a quickness, as really what it boils down to. Yeah. So very good tip. I like that.
Or in my case today, you can shield yourself from flying toenails. Because
we definitely got to talk about this toenail. I was like, did he just send a text saying somebody was over here clipping him on the job? I'm like, you ain't been there a week and you got somebody already acting out, right?
I'm telling you, I was like, is she clipping her toenails? So anyway, I'll be brief for our listeners, but So I'm working, inputting my data like I'm supposed to, doing my job, and I hear all these. Everybody knows what fingernail clippers sound like when you're clipping your fingernails or your toenails, and I hear it, and the lady behind me is literally clipping her toenails at her desk, and I'm like, "Are you serious?" So thank goodness I had a sweater to shield myself from the flying toenails coming over the divider in between our cubicles. They really weren't flying, but she was keeping it together. But I was like, really? You're clipping your toenails at work? You can do that at home or this morning before you came in or in your car or in the garage. But that was hilarious.
Oh my goodness! I hope nobody else seen it because we just talked about the fact of how important it is that the impressions that you leave, right? And of course, every time you see her, the only thing you're gonna remember is those clipping those toenails.
Yeah, no matter what, I will think of her as toenail clipping, and I'm not going to say her name because she might listen to the podcast. I don't want her embarrassed. So I'm like, oh my God, but she'll know who she is because she'll know me and be like, oh, T was talking about me. Yeah, girl, I was. Oh, I'm talking to you. You sit right behind me.
Oh, but it was just funny. I'm like, wow. I mean, this is interesting. Hey, at least you had an exciting moment at work. Because sometimes you need those moments, Sometimes you need them. Oh, right.
Yeah, and then I went to lunch. Thank God.
I don't even know if I could eat after looking at that. I'm like, wait a minute.
Well, I couldn't see it. I could just hear it. And when I got up to leave, I saw what she was doing. And I was like, girl, really? You don't have no time in your day when you get home when you could do that? I was like, oh, God.
Oh, my goodness. Oh. All right. Our next thing. I guess we'll start going over some of the upcoming events. We have quite a few things to go over real quickly. So
we do.
Yeah. So we need to go ahead and make this happen. I guess the first thing I wanted to mention is I will actually be live on air again coming Sunday. So I'm real excited about that.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
I get excited. I get excited.
It's all right. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. Anyway, now actually I will be on the WLVS Listen Vision Radio on Sunday evening, or should I say Sunday afternoon at 2:00 p.m. With some really awesome people. I'm gonna mention the names. I'm gonna give them a shout out. Larry White Sr., who is the owner of VIP Events Concierge, he will be there. And then we have celebrity photographer Patricia McDougall. And then we have another gentleman that just joined our group, Robert. I cannot remember how to pronounce his last name. I believe it's Antonio. And please don't beat me up when you see me, Robert, because I'm sorry that I'm messing up your last name. But we're all going to be on, it's actually Patricia's show, so we're real excited about this on Sunday, and I am their special VIP guest author, so I will be talking about my book. I'm real excited about the book. Memoir, Deception of the Heart, a real look into domestic violence. So, listen in. You can tune in live. I will provide the information that you can review online, so you can all, if you haven't already seen it, as I know I've been throwing it out there on Facebook, me and Larry, we've been throwing it out like it's popcorn. So, hey, we would love for everybody to tune in. It's going to be really a very good discussion, a little heavy, of course, at times, but it's something that I really want to share with people and make everybody understand the importance of domestic violence and how it needs to be handled. So I hope that everybody is going to be tuning in on that. And then we got a few other things, and you wanted to bring up something else for me, didn't you?
I did. Well, I wanted to talk about your event, but first, a shout out to Larry and Robert, and to, I feel like I have to do it. Patty! Sorry, I know her name is Patricia, but I just had to do it. I had to do it. But I'm looking forward to the 17th when you're doing your book signing at Alexandria Library.
Yeah,
I believe it's
the Kate Waller Branch Library. Yeah,
There we go, and it's free. It's at 717 Queen Street. It's free, and our listeners will be able to come out and meet both of us. They'll be able to support your book signing and meet both of us and get to see, who we are and talk a little bit more about us. And they'll be like, oh, they're fabulous. And we'll be like, yes, we are.
Exactly. Yeah, that is a huge, huge event for me. So, it's coming up literally 16 days. I can't believe how fast this is coming up. So I'm real excited about that. And then even after we finish the book signings, I'm going to actually be doing book reading and then signing. Then we're actually going to be doing a small networking event so we can have a little more time to spend with each other, because that hour will go by so fast. Because it's going to be from 3 o'clock to 4, and then from 5 to 7, we're going to be over at the MGM Tap Sports Bar. So come hang out with us, fellowship, meet some other fabulous business owners, and like T said, you got to meet us together, because you're just gonna love us. If you love us on the radio, you're gonna love us in person. It's just,
we're a good time.
Yeah,
we're a very, very good time.
We are. And then I'll bring up a couple other business events that I wanted to talk about. Also for myself, I'm really excited about eventually we're putting together a 7-city book tour. So we're going to be starting that late this fall and running into 2019. So, of course, we're going to start here in the Washington, D.C. metro area. We're probably going to be hitting North Carolina, Texas, and my hometown, Davenport, Iowa. That part I'm real excited about, getting the opportunity to go home, visit family and friends, and then also share my story and help other women succeed in life after going through some traumatic things. Domestic violence is very traumatic. So I'm here to teach people not how to be a survivor, but how to be a hero. So I'll be talking more about that on Sunday. So like I said, make sure you tune in. But on a lighter note, let's talk about some other events. We have the Black Expo America coming up for 2018 on Saturday, March 10th. From 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. down at the Washington, D.C. at the Renaissance Washington, D.C. Downtown Hotel. So it's a day-long event that's open free to the public. There is going to be, from my understanding, 50-plus vendors and an anticipated 500 to 1,000 attendees. So for those who are in business or want to collaborate, connect, and meet other people, I would think this would be a great opportunity that you should all go down and support. And like I said, it is a free event on March 10th. And that event starts at 10 a.m. One other thing I do want to bring up that Larry is sponsoring, which is the Corporate Leadership Workshop. And it doesn't happen until April 19th, but it's extremely important that everybody who's interested in this opportunity, you need to register early. We have an early bird pricing, which ends on March 15th. And this is actually going to be over in Tyson's store, the Microsoft Tyson store. So there's going to be a lot of great topics, like strategies of using LinkedIn, marketing, branding, advertising, business development, and of course the Microsoft Office Sway. That is kind of a new phenomenon that people are utilizing as a tool. So for that information, you can find anything on Facebook. You can look through his registry, which is www.vipeventsconcierge.com/upcoming-events, and then another /. Or you can also definitely look on just my Facebook page, and I'm also advertising the same information, because I will absolutely be there as well, supporting Larry, because like I said, this is another great opportunity for business people. And even if you're not a business person, just learning some of these strategies you can also use in your day-to-day job. So I hope that we see you all there for these business events and book signing events. But we have some other events that I'm going to let T take over and talk about.
Well, thank you, Lady K. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that. I enjoyed everything you had to say, and I was
Thank
like,
you.
"Oh, I want to be at these events. I want to go there too." So,
Gotta have my sidekick, so you gotta come
right,
on.
right, like hey, and I keep saying "hey"
and O.
but-
You gotta get that part. Hey, oh, you gotta get it right. You gotta do sway back and forth. But anyway.
Well, speaking of A, I want to let all of our listeners know that on tomorrow, March 3rd, is that right?
Yeah.
No, March 3rd. Second.
See, now you got me
So,
confused. Okay.
I know. I don't know why I keep messing. I'm not ready for March yet. I'm just not ready for it. But anyway, tomorrow, which is Friday, at Gold's Gym Lorton, because you all know I'm passionate about fitness. There's actually going to be a mixed fit masterclass taking place at 7:30. It's immediately following my Zumba class. Mixed fit is like urban contemporary dance. You hear the music when you listen to your local radio station, and you hear the urban and the pop hits. their their class is kind of centered around that kind of music. And so the CEO and founder, her name is Lori, I believe it's Barcinella or it's Barcinilla. She's the CEO and founder of MixFit, and it'll be a 90-minute class. It's $15. You get there at 7:30, you work out for 90 minutes, and they do a lot of right. And I kind of live for that secretly, although I do love Zumba, but I kind of live like because you get to say that all the time.
Right.
And shout out to my friend Tiffany, who is actually one of the Mixed Fit. I think she's a master trainer, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And a shout out to Shara and May and Shannon, who are also instructors. They teach in the local area as well. They'll all be there for that, and it's going to be awesome. But once again, that's tomorrow. That's Friday, March 2nd, from 7:30 to 9 p.m. It's $15. And going through the month, on the 11th of March, NBC4 has an annual health and fitness expo that will be taking place on, once again, Sunday, March 11th, from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. at the Walter E. Washington Convention Center. It's their 25th anniversary, so they are doing black and platinum colors. It'll be taking place in halls D and E. And they are so excited. I think it's going to be so fabulous. I have some friends who will be presenting there. So once again, it's free and open to the public. All different types of health and fitness phenomena and industry and types of classes will be going on there. So go there, have a fabulous time for 2 hours for free, and just enjoy everything that they have to offer. On March 24th, which is a Saturday, from 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. at End Zone. It's in the letter N and in Zone, Zone, in Chantilly, Virginia. Two of my Zumba brothers, going back to Zumba. Hey. Two of my Zumba brothers, Antonio Silva of 5 Star Fellas and Jason McLemore of Muevelo DMV will be having a Stomp and Samba Part 2. Last year they did their Stomp and Samba event, and it was a fabulous and wonderful success. And they're doing it again this year, and they believe that everyone is a VIP. So there are no VIP prices, no general admission prices. Everybody pays the same because everybody is important.
Wow.
Tickets are available online in advance for $10 and at the door for $15. So get ready to work out, and I will let everybody know that Antonio does take off his shirt. So ladies, if you want to see a man take off his shirt, he's taking off his shirt. Jason's married, so he's keeping it on because his wife's not going to let him.
Oh boy.
Let's see. I got 2 more events I want to get through. I love Beyonce. Everybody loves Beyonce or Rihanna. And Black Cat DC is going to be having a B and Rihanna tribute. It's going to be on March 30th. Which I believe is a Saturday.
No, that's a Friday, and the reason why
that's
I
Friday.
know that, yes,
Friday
31st
night.
is a very other important day for me, so I know that's.
There we go.
There you go.
See, I was bad, and I didn't write down the day, but I wrote down the date. But that's Black Cat DC at 1811 4th Street, DC Northwest, because I know Northwest and Southeast and all that stuff is important to know in DC. It's from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m., which is Friday night into the next day, Saturday morning. There's a $15 cover, and they'll be basically blending the sounds of those 2 wonderful divas. Once again, we're celebrating Black History Month from last month and going into we're now in Women's History Month. These are 2 powerfully important women. Think about all the things that they've accomplished, and they won't be there. I just want everybody to know that they won't be there.
Like he told me, B was gonna be there.
like where's Rihanna at? They're at home in their beds.
Exactly.
But it's going to be a mashup of music and videos, and it looks like it's going to be really, really cool. So I look forward to being there. And I forgot to mention this on Saturday, the 3rd of March, which is coming up the day after tomorrow. A Zumba sister of mine who started her own business called Hips Fitness. Hips, HIPS, stands for Helping Inspire People's Self-Confidence. Her name is Michelle Hunter. At Rules Fitness in Upper Marlboro. Am I saying that right? Upper
Yes,
Marlboro, Maryland.
Marble. Yeah, we
Yes,
got it.
yeah, you got it. You got it.
You can tell we're not from that
We're
side.
not from here. We're not from here. Anyway, the address is 14450 Old Mill Road, and she's going to have a 90-minute session for Hips Kicks. That's a program that she's developed that is cardio kickboxing, and it starts at 10:30 in the morning, goes until 12 p.m. It's a smaller venue, but it's a workshop. So, if you want to kick some butt, you want to be there. It's $25 online, but $35 at the door. But since it's a workshop, she is there to make you work. She's going to be showing you how to move your body and how to do things so you can maximize your workout. It's not just a master class where you just follow along and you just do.
Right.
She's going to show you how to make gains in your workout and be a better you. So shout out to Michelle Hunter of Hips Fitness and Antonio and Jason for Stomp and Samba and Lori and the Mixed Fit team. Shout out to Tiffany and everybody else that I mentioned earlier who are my dance fitness or our dance fitness brothers and sisters, our brethren and sistren. I think that's right. Who are going to be presenting locally tomorrow. So hopefully everybody's going to show out and show up and have a good time.
All right. Well, obviously, this is great. Obviously, we don't have all the information for all the events that are going on through the month of March, but we just wanted to bring out a few. And I just want to say that if there's any specific event that you all in the community here in the local community want to let us know ahead of time. You can always send us a Facebook message or you can send me a private email for those who know me, but Facebook is probably the easiest and quickest way, or, send a message of any sort and say, hey, I have an event that I want you, to talk about. We're more than happy to support that because we are here to support the community. Like I said, our show is all about local, and making sure that everybody gets an opportunity to know what's going on in their community, and that's what we want to do. But that was really great that we have so much going on, and people know if you live here in this area, there's a ton of things going on. There's always a ton of things going on, and of course, the other thing, if you have not done this yet, you need to go see the movie Black Panther. I have got to talk about that for like 2 seconds because that was a phenomenal movie, and I need to go see it again.
Wakanda forever.
Yes, Wakanda. Yes, I wish it actually existed. And my son told me, I said, man, is that really a play? I had to think about it for a second, and not that it doesn't exist, but when you think about Africa itself, the minerals, all the things that they were talking about, those things do exist. So even though it was, a fictitious place, the lot of the things that they were talking about, there's when you look at some of the history of Africa, our nation, it those things are real. So, we joke and we laugh about it, but it was so great to be able to see a phenomenal show, where we can be heroes. And I love the women in the show. The women were just off the chain. I was like,
yes,
man, very powerful, and we weren't
impactful.
Exactly. And the thing I loved about it that impressed me the most is that we weren't looked at as being angry, ignorant, loud, all those things that sometimes people look at us Black women as being, and so it was so great to see powerful women standing up for who they were, and they were being themselves, and they were loved for being themselves. So that's another part of women's history that, we are here and we're not going away. So, charge on. And like I said, so continue to support the Black Panther movie. It's making money beyond anybody's expectations. So I'm glad that we're all out there supporting. So if you haven't seen it, go see it. And if you want to see it again, please do. It is absolutely worth every penny.
My favorite line was, "Don't scare me like that, colonizer."
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there was a few other ones, but we ain't gonna get into that right now. But
we're not gonna get into that.
Yeah, it was great lines in that movie. But all right, but we are actually getting close to the very end of our show. But before we, I know, and we always try to say, oh, we're gonna keep this 30 minutes. We are way beyond the 30-minute mark.
We are,
but
I'm looking at my timer right now. I'm like, okay, we're past 30 minutes.
Yeah, but the beauty about it is that when you have these type of shows and they're live, the spirit, and we have so much information that we do want to talk about, and I hope that we are bringing valuable content to our listeners because this is the opportunity that most people don't get, is that, hey, we're sharing our stories. We're trying to help other people who may need the help that we're providing information to. So it's definitely worth every penny. So, and every minute. But I do want to talk a little bit before we decide to close out. We always think about inspiration, and a part of our show is really, as we call it, our show is Moments with Lady K Mistah Tee. So we've had a lot of fun moments, but we also try to end our show with moments of inspiration. And every day, we all go through something in life, and we're here to inspire you in our own way. And I think, Mr. T, you and I talked a little bit earlier that you said that you really had something you wanted to share this evening.
I did. I wanted to share the importance of refusing to allow negativity into your life. I've had several conversations over the past week just that centered around how some people were allowing negativity to exist and permeate their lives. And all these conversations happen with different people at different locations, and all the conversations happen so organically. And on my Facebook page, Move with T, I actually posted something today, because on Thursdays I do a Thoughtful Thursday. Mm-hmm. And one of the first things that I posted was, whoever is trying to bring you down is already below you.
Powerful statement.
Right. And, in just thinking about life and everything that's going on, there's so many people that I've met with this week who've had instances where they've been around people who've tried to bring them down and or bring negativity into their space. And it's okay to say, hey, I don't want that in my space. I hear what you're saying. Thank you for sharing, but I need you to take that elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And with Erica Badu, she was talking about bag lady.
Yes.
And last night with one of my students, I shared the analogy of being in the airport. When you're in an airport, they say, has anybody touched your bag? Or has anybody carried your bag except for you since you've come into this space? Mm-hmm. And you're supposed to watch your bag. And for those here in the DMV, when you're in the metro, it's supposed, if you see something, say something. In the airport, it's the same thing. If you see something, say something. If you see something suspicious, say something.
Right.
If you see a bag that's not yours, you don't have to carry it. It's not your responsibility to take care of that bag.
That's right.
Now, if you're in the airport, you want to make sure that you tell somebody there's a bag by itself in the corner. You do want to say that.
Yeah, you might want to mention that.
You might want to mention that to security. But, if you see a bag that somebody else is carrying, you're not responsible for that. You don't have to carry that. You don't have to take that with you. And speaking back to what I was just sharing before about whoever's trying to bring you down, how they're already below you, mm-hmm. we have to remember that people who are out for us, and not to say that there are people gunning for you at any given moment. Fortunately, I can't really say that. I'm going to say we're living in a society where you're not going to get shot, but unfortunately, that's a whole different gamut now.
Yeah.
But emotionally and mentally and spiritually, if someone's trying to purposefully bring you where they are, and sometimes it's not even obvious to us. Right. We just hear them coming to us with their naysaying, as our grandparents used to say, mm-hmm. and their woe is me attitude. That brings you down.
Yeah.
And you don't realize it because you're so busy trying to help them be a better her or a better him that you don't realize that they're slowly bringing you down to where they are. Mm-hmm. And it's like when you see that, recognize it and say, hey, I understand you're broken, whatever that means for that person. You need to take care of that. You need to go fix that. And so rather than allowing it into your life, recognize it when you see it. And most of us recognize the signs. But sometimes we're scared to say it, and I know you're part of the with your business, the Women's Small Business Initiative. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, women culturally want to help, and they reach out, and they want to continue. They're socialized to want to help, and slowly the other person's bringing them down, and they don't realize it. And then before you know it, you're swarmed with not only your regular problems and your bags, but mm-hmm. their bags too. And then they're walking around here like Charlie Farley, like, oh, everything's great, life is wonderful. Mm-hmm. And so we have to recognize that. And so just don't allow that negativity whatever it may be, into your life. As soon as you see it, call it out, speak it out, and let that person know, or persons, let them know you're not welcome here. No, thank you. Go your own way. If it's at work, in the work environment, unfortunately, we don't choose our coworkers.
Right.
So you can just say, hey, I'm going to deal with you professionally. I'm only going to exchange with you what's important for us to do our jobs.
Right.
But I'm not going to talk to you in the elevator. If you ask me how am I doing, I'm well. And then turn and face forward. If you have to, pull out your phone and text, or pretend to text. And then you don't have to engage them, but just do things. Make sure that you're responsible for your space, and be aware of the allowances you make for other people to come into your life and bring energy, because you only want to bring positive energy into your space. So anyway, I'm off my soapbox. I'm done.
No. I mean, that's actually that piece of inspiration is very important, and I'm actually glad that people.
Like,
ooh. Yeah, can you believe somebody's actually calling me? I mean, I'm actually glad that people they need to hear that. They need to understand and know about what it means to let things go. And so, like I said, we all sometimes need some inspiration, and I'm glad that you had the opportunity to share that inspiration with everyone this evening. But we do definitely need to come to the end of our night. And what I want to say, though, is I know a lot of people are wondering, well, gosh, how can they get a hold of us? When are you guys going to be coming back on? Well, as we were saying before, earlier on the show, that this show we're going to be periodically on throughout the rest of this year. We will be going live in 2019. But you will definitely hear from us. So don't worry, we'll be back, and don't feel like, that you have to say, oh, they're never coming back. How many more months it's going to be? We will let you know in due time that we will be coming back on, probably, if not once a month, at least once every month, but we will be back so that you can hear these wonderful stories, topics of conversations, things that are going on in the community, and so forth. But, we appreciate you giving us and allowing us to share our time with you listeners. But before we do actually go, do you have any last things to say? Any last words, Mr. T?
The only thing
You got 1 minute, dude. 1 minute.
The only thing that I will say is protect your magic, because you are special, and you don't need anybody else to help you be a better you.
All right. Well, I love that. And that is a perfect way to end our segue for tonight. And I do want to say to you, my dear, it has been a pleasure, as usual, hanging out with you.
It's always a delight with you, Lady K. I appreciate you. Thank you, dear. Mwah.
Smooches, right back at you. To everyone else, I would like to say thank you all for listening to our show this evening. It has been a blast, and we will be talking to you soon. I also want to remind you that you can listen to us on iHeartRadio, and we are also still on Spreaker. So, hey, choose your poison, so to speak, but we really want to hear from you. Become a follower. But until the next time, you all enjoy the rest of your evening.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.wsbillc.com and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.